This is a place for planting, for digging, for harvesting, for relaxing. It's a place to get your hands dirty, but most of all, it's about having fun. And that's what you'll always have when you're in the garden with Doug Oster. You want a green thumb too, don't you? Well, it's been a couple weeks since we've been in the garden together. We've been on the road, and I cut these trails in the woods 15 years ago with my kids, and with the snow on the ground, we find that the deer are using the trails just as much as we are, and they are feasting on the garden. We'll deal with that problem in a little bit. But since you've been gone, we've had warm weather, which brought us these beautiful flowers, snow crocus and snowdrops, and then we had a deep freeze. You can see how these plants got their names. Now I want to check our winter vegetable garden to see what survived the deep freeze and the deer. Follow me. Well, walking down here, I can see where the deer have been everywhere except in here. They did not jump the fence. That's good news. And I think the best chance for our winter garden survival is right behind you in a cold frame. Crossing fingers. I'm hoping that this snow acted as an insulator. It was 2 below. And we'll see if we can even get it open. Come on, there we go. And there is some kale left. Oh. Not a lot, but there's something left. That's great. Well, next up, it's dealing with the deer again. Not much to pick here, but I've got to have one little piece. It's frozen. It tastes awful. It'll come back, though. Well, on my way out of the garden, I had to take a sneak peek. I already took a look at this and check out this purple kohlrabi. It looks pretty good. That is exciting. All right, let's go deal with those deer. Well, I always put this back so the deer don't wander in there, but you can see how hungry they are. This is mountain laurel, and it is poisonous to them, but look what they're doing to it. And this plant still has some buds on it, which means it still has some flowers on it. We want to keep it that way. I'm using a product called Bob-X. There are lots of different deer deterrents out there. I just happen to use Bob-X. I've had really good luck with it. But find what you can at your local garden center. And not only are we going to do this mountain laurel, they're after the azaleas and the rhododendrons, and I don't want to lose them. Well, it used to be that Max, the wonder dog here, would chase those deer, but we came out this morning and there were 3 of them out there in the woods. He didn't even see them, and they've become absolutely fearless. And so I will continue to spray probably once a week until we get into the season, get some growth in the forest, and the deer won't be as interested in my azaleas. Well, you can't blame the deer. You might be able to blame an old dog or an old gardener. Those smaller bushes should have been surrounded with some deer netting like this. This is a dawn redwood tree that I put in here when this big oak fell, and I'm so glad that I put that deer netting around it. When I put it in, it was only this big, and eventually it's going to be 90 feet tall and fill this space, and it's just an amazing tree. All right, we got one more fun outdoor project to do. Follow me. All right, now we're going to have a little bit of fun. One thing that deer don't eat are these forsythia, at least in my garden. And this is a plant that we can cut right now, and we can force it to bloom and get some beautiful yellow blooms inside. You can do this with this forsythia, flowering quince, anything that has a bud on it already. We try and cut these as close as we can to the time that they would actually bloom. This will be blooming in April. This is one of the first things to bloom. So all we're going to do is snip a few of these off here, and then the real fun begins, and you'll see why. So I've removed the bottom twigs here, and now the fun part, we are going to smash these with a hammer, and that's because when we put them in a vase, they will suck up the water like crazy. That's all we need to do. And let's take them inside, put them in a vase, and we got one more thing. Oops, we got one more thing to show you inside. I was thinking about those deer as I was using that hammer on these forsythia plants. And we've got them in the water, got them in a vase. We'll leave them inside in just about a week. This is going to be filled with yellow blooms, getting us just a little bit closer to spring. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago we planted some bulbs with these paperwhites? They're blooming and filling the house with their wonderful fragrance. Not everyone loves them. And I've got an amaryllis bulb here ready to bloom. If you're going crazy like I am and want to get the season started, go to any garden center, get some paper white bulbs, an amaryllis bulb, or just go outside and clip a few of these forsythia. Oh, I can't wait to see them bloom. Now, for more information about everything we talked about today, check me out online. There's more stories and pictures and videos there. Until next week. Oh, that smells like spring to me. We'll see you then.